Good morning, everyone. This is Rachel, and I'm just going to get started. I'm not sure if you heard me, but good morning, everyone. This is Rachel. I'm just going to get started because I never know who's coming in or not. So I came on this morning after having watched everything that went on yesterday with Jay Wilson, Tracy, and all of that. And I wanted to talk about this doxing. Yesterday, when I was going through all of the lives like everyone else, I was sitting here thinking, content creators like me need to start speaking up. The ones that are not involved in the beef, the ones that are not involved in the doxing, and the ones that have been around a while. Now, y'all know the trend now is um, to not post your numbers, not post your likes and your dislikes. So before we go on, look down in the left hand corner where you see my name and how many subscribers that I have. So I'm not doing this for any type of clout. I'm doing this because I'm starting to get really concerned about what's going on. Let me tell you the first thing that I woke up to this morning. So yesterday, after the aftermath of everything, me watching all the videos and all of that. Last night I had watched a video by Timothy Blaine. And after I watched his video, I watched both of them. The one where he says that Jay Wilson has some explaining to do, and the other one that he talked about Phi Babe's receipts. And I left a message down in his comment box. Basically, what I told him in the message is that anyone who has ever owned a house or property or anything knows, if you want to find out who the owner of the property is, you have to check the property records. I told him that if basically if he had known that, he would have went there immediately to do his own research, and he would have seen that Jay Wilson does own that property. I also left in that message that he needed to stop allowing these younger, ill informed YouTubers to lead him around by his nose, because it had him out here looking all kinds of silly. So this morning, what I woke up to is a message from Tracy. In that message, it said something to me like, why am I now? Remember, this is under Timothy Blaine's comment section. She's in there answering his comments. So she tells me something like, why am I here writing novels? Because my post was rather long. And she says nobody's reading them anyway, even though the fact that she was asking me that question lets me know that she read it. And then she went on to say she reported this thing that I have posted on my community wall about helping the victims of Hurricane Dorian. Basically, on my wall, I put that I wanted to team up with some other content creators and, gather some funds or point people in the direction of some type of aid that can help those people down, where Hurricane Dorian hit in the Bahamas. So, y'all, I don't get back and go through the back and forth with arguing with someone. So basically, what I told her is, little girl, do not bother me, basically. And I told her to pick up her toys and go somewhere and basically sit the fuck down. Now, I didn't say all that, but that's pretty much what I meant. Y'all, what was done yesterday with posting Jay Wilson's home address? It is definitely doxing and it is illegal. Now, when I was putting, my comments in people's chats, basically the reoccurring thing that I kept putting in is there is something called identifying information. And what that is any information that can directly point you to a person, like their name, their address, their email address, their phone number. Y'all, let me just tell you something. In my life, I have worked at so many different jobs trying to figure out what I wanted to do and what made me happy in working. So when I first started out, when I was like in my early 20s, I worked at a law firm. I worked at a law firm called Jones Day Revis and Poe. I lived in Cleveland and I worked there from about 22 to 25. I left and I moved away for a year and then I came back and then I worked there another 2 years. I went back to that same law firm, got my job back because I had only been gone a year. Then after that, y'all, I worked for Progressive Insurance. I worked there for a little while. And then around the age of about 32, I started working for American Express. I worked there for about 10 years, 10 or 11 years. And then I did my little thing with being a travel agent. And then I've worked in the healthcare industry. One thing that I will say about all of these places that I ever worked, they took their members' um, personal information very importantly. I don't know if any of you know about the HIPAA laws, like when you work in the healthcare industry, and when it comes to exposing people's medical information, every healthcare company that I ever worked at, I had to, when I got hired, I had to sign all of these documents stating that I will protect the information that I came across. And y'all, you're gonna hear my complex doing. Uh, they're out there landscaping and cutting the yard, so excuse the background noise, but they do it every couple of days. I did not know they were going to be doing it this morning, but I'm going to go on. So as I was stating, those companies, they protect the information, the medical information of their members. One company that I just worked for um, had a problem with releasing some information that they weren't supposed to. It was a mistake, but they ended up being fined by the state of Ohio to the tune of $250,000 one time, and then another time, $80,000. When I worked for American Express, the documents that I had to sign when I first started with that company were like thick as a small pamphlet, signing that I won't, because when we work for them, we have all of your personal information, even down to your mother's maiden name. We have your credit cards, your wife's name, all of this, your spouse's name. If you were a crooked person, you could take that information and go out here and wreak all kind of havoc, getting credit cards. And y'all know that there have been scandals where people do that. The reason why I'm bringing all of this up is the word doxing and dox is similar to what HIPAA means. It means that when you are online and you are searching for personally identifiable information, I don't mean we're in your neighborhood. Where I live at, the name of my neighborhood, it has a name, the name of the area that I live in. In every area of the city that I live in, each little neighborhood has its own name. So just say you came to the city that I lived in and you came with your camera, because I'm going to use what Tracy said that Jay Wilson did. Just say you came with your camera. And when you enter my neighborhood, there's a big island as you come into our community, and it gives the name of our neighborhood. Okay. So if you were to film that name of my neighborhood, have you doxed me? Okay. If you start driving down the streets within that neighborhood that are in that name of that community, and you have your camera on and you're riding past all the houses in our neighborhood and all of that, have you doxed me? But when Tracy yesterday put up his address, that is personally identifying information. It gave you his address, his zip code, the city that he lives in, and prior to that, she had put up his phone number. That is personally identifying information. When Jay Wilson went to her neighborhood and filmed the gas station, the power lines, that is not personally identifying information. When Fibe went to her neighborhood and she filmed the parking lot and the complex, that is not personally identifying information. Y'all, I have worked in the banking industry. I have worked with, for a group of attorneys. I have worked for healthcare companies. I understand um, what that information is, when you're talking about releasing people's personally identifying information. What Tracy did yesterday, y'all, if Jay Wilson pursues this, she's going to be in big trouble. If a healthcare company like Blue Cross, Anthem, Anthem Blue Cross, United Healthcare, all of them, if they release your information, they are fined big time. They can lose their license to practice in a state. We have seen on television big cases where um, big companies have released people's information and they pay the price. What does Tracy think is going to happen to her after she released that information? Now, when she came into Timothy Blaine's comment section, and y'all, she's commenting on every person who leaves a comment in his comment section that she doesn't agree with. It got to the point where I was like, is she his personal secretary? And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. Timothy Blaine, I really like him because he he seems like a decent guy. He seems to have aged and learned a lot of life lessons. And, you know, I thought he was cool. But his hatred and his total dislike for Jay Wilson has him out here looking silly. He's allowing that hatred to get him into things that I really don't believe that Tim wanted to be in. He got caught up in the moment. And for that, I will excuse him. Sometimes, even as older people, we do silly stuff that gets us into things that when we look back in hindsight, we say, Lord, why did I let them drag me into this mess? Because I know that Timothy Blaine probably got up this morning, did a little research, like people were telling him, go look at the property records. You know, anyone who's owned a property, they know how to research to find out who actually owns this place. When I watched Tracy last night on her live, calling the police saying that this man was stalking her. There was a black convertible out in front. Now he's over there sitting on his live and she's reporting him to the police. The one thing that bothered me about that is, y'all, the way that the police, well, I'm going to say this up front, reporting a black man to the police. I just don't get with that, especially when we know how an innocent situation with the police can escalate into a black man being killed. at their hands. You know, Jay Wilson was saying on his live that he was going to the gym or wherever. I was thinking to myself, brother, what you need to do is go somewhere and go to sleep and don't go out the house. Because she also had said that she was going to, because I'm pretty sure Tracy knows what Jay Wilson's car looks like because they were friends at one time. And she probably can describe his car to the police. What if they rolled up on him when he was going to the gym or wherever he was going? And, they walked up, he pulled down his window, they got to talking to him. And because he was being reported as a stalker, they had their hands on their guns, and maybe Jay Wilson wasn't moving as fast as they wanted, or he went to reach for his wallet to show them his license or something, or whatever they asked him for, and things got out of hand and he got shot. Was all this stuff that is going on YouTube worth something like that happening? Because y'all, we know that brothers have died for less, you know? So for her to involve the police in this bullshit that's going on YouTube is ridiculous. And then let me just say this. Maybe someone is following Tracy. She's made quite a few enemies here out on YouTube. People don't really like her. And maybe someone in Texas went to where she lived or found out where she lived at and went there and is watching her. Y'all, we gotta stop this doxing. We gotta start speaking up. When we see it being done, we gotta report it. This stuff is not funny, y'all. I think what's happening nowadays is we're living in this, what I call microwave time, where we watch reality shows and we watch people show out on these reality shows, and we emulate that behavior in real life. Y'all, this ain't TV. Mona Scott Young is not running this sector. And all of this showing out, acting out, performing for the people in your chat is going to get somebody hurt. It's gonna cause one of those Looney Tune subscribers to go to someone's house, go to someone's job, go somewhere and do some serious damage to that person. And then we will all be on here as content creators talking about how it's a damn shame how such and such was killed. We got to stop this. This shit is getting ridiculous. You see people down in Tracy's chat box, chat, just egging her on. Grown people. Y'all, I don't understand people who are in there. I can see people in their 20s and stuff playing these little games. But when you start getting up in your late 30s, early 40s, and all of that stuff, how can you ride for shit like this? This reminds me of stuff that people in my daughter's age bracket would do. My daughter is 24. I can see young people like that getting into that back and forth because they grew up watching all these reality shows and they believe popping off and all that they think it's cute, but not people who are in their late 30s, early 40s, and even 50s and 60s. This is ridiculous. In the past, I said, you know what, don't wade into this stuff because, like what happened this morning with Tracy, basically commenting on the comment that I left under Tim Blaine's video and then threatening me, talking about that I was running a hurricane relief scam. Y'all, I gave money to the Red Cross on my own personally. And when I heard other YouTubers talking about getting together as a collective and sending something from maybe our sector of YouTube, I said, oh, what a great idea. I would love to be involved in something like that. Now, y'all, I work too hard for my money to be playing with anybody on YouTube. If I give $20, that $20 is hard earned. I sit at a computer all day every day with my back and knees jacked up. So when I'm giving my money to somebody, I don't want to give it to somebody who's scheming. I don't want to be a part of no mess. So for her to come on my video talking about under Timothy Blaine's video, talking about she was going to report me for a hurricane relief scam. See, she is reaching. When people say that this girl, something is wrong with her, y'all think about it. Tracy is 48, between 48 and 50. She is too old to be acting like this, y'all. She is too old. I don't even know. I tried to review in my mind what went wrong with her after her and Jay Wilson parted ways. There's one. Y'all. I have friends that I liked in the past, and at some point we may have parted ways, a disagreement, and we decided not to mess with each other anymore. But once that's done, it's over for me. I don't continue on day after day, week after week, month after month with the other girlfriends dragging that other one. I just say to myself, I'm not messing with her anymore. And pretty much that's it. But to go back and forth, and they're both doing it. They're both doing it. Some of the things that are happening now out here, y'all, um, in this YouTube sector is really, really starting to bother me. I'm going to say this up front. I am, I guess, friends, if you can call it that, with a lot of YouTubers out here. I go in their chats, I support them and all that. But what I won't support, because y'all, I'm a grown ass woman. I'm 54 years old. I'm a grown ass woman. No one is going to tell me who to support. I can like this person if you don't. No one is going to tell me what to do and how to move in these YouTube streets. If I see something that I don't think is right, I'm going to speak on it because that's what grown-ups do. See, the problem is that the psychos are running the asylum. That's what the problem is. The psychos are running the asylum. And then you have all these bandwagon jumpers, people that just jump on the bandwagon and they egg shit on because they like to see the mess. They like to see this these content creators going back and forth at each other. They get a kick out of that. And they're not they're I'm trying to get this call in set up, y'all. And as I was saying, they like to see these people going back and forth with each other. And this is going to keep going to, like I've been saying now in several videos of mine, until somebody seriously gets hurt. When Jay Wilson came on, and I screenshotted Tracy's community page because I knew she was going to take it down. And this morning, his address is down, but it was up all day yesterday. It was up. When he came on and confirmed, see, when I first saw the Texas address, I said, no, this girl cannot be this stupid. Because like I said, there's a difference between showing someone's neighborhood, because basically you would have to ride through the whole neighborhood and knock on every door to find out exactly where Tracy lived. Y'all, look, I live in a townhome community. My townhome community runs the full length of one side of a street. It starts at the beginning of the neighborhood, and these townhomes snake down a long street. How would you know which one I lived in if you just came and drove and had a camera driving down my street? How would you know which one I lived in? So when she keeps saying that he doxed her by showing that gas station. Anybody who has sense and who's thinking clearly, y'all hear me, think clearly about this. How is that doxing her? Well, how is that putting out personally identifying information? Okay, her apartment number was not shown, her address was not shown, her phone number was not shown by him. Now, Phi Babe did go to her apartment and filmed the parking lot and the complex. But ask yourself, did she go to her door? Did she know the apartment number and go to her door? This is why I say, is it the young people running us now, y'all? Because see, young people, they pop off sometime. And you know what? Not all of them. Because I'm gonna take that back. Because it's not all of them. Because there's a whole bunch of deep thinking young people here on YouTube. I watch their videos every day. So I'm not even going to put that on just being young because there's some old motherfuckers out here acting stupid too. It is people that are not thinking, you know? And then, y'all, just this doxing period. I want to know, what do y'all think of it? We have people saying, okay, um, it's it's wrong, but we all still watch, and I include myself in it because I watch this math too. Like I say, y'all, it's like a train wreck, so it's hard to turn away from it. But in watching it, basically what we're doing is we are supporting it. And I think that we need to stop all of this, y'all, because this shit is getting dangerous. It's gonna get somebody hurt. And I wanted to know what you guys out there who have been watching all of this, what do you think of it? You know, do you think that it's okay? Good morning, that girl Dazzle. What we're talking about is the doxing in this sector of YouTube. And what happened with Jay Wilson's address yesterday, whether you guys think that Tracy was right in putting out his entire address, because he came on and he confirmed that that is his address. And then also the thing with these people checking the property records or checking to see if that whether he owned that property. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, that information, people keep saying, oh well, it's public. But when you bring it on to YouTube for malicious intent, that's where the law gets involved. I went through that whole thing about doxing is sort of like HIPAA laws. If you've ever gone to your doctor's office or the hospital, there is a form that you sign, and it's about HIPAA. The hospital is saying that you give them permission to request your medical records. You give them permission because they cannot just go and request your medical records without your permission. So they make you sign something. And y'all, it even gets deeper than that. I work for a health insurance company. Do you know that when those doctors' offices call us, there is only specific information that we will give them. Just say that you are going in to have a hysterectomy and they need, your history on your female problems that you have. And they might need, just say, your claims for for a procedure that you're going to have. We're not going to give them anything dealing with anything other than what pertains to that hysterectomy you have. Just say you had an operation on your foot. What do that have to do with your women's part? We're not going to give them that. We even tell them to Okay, y'all, hold on one second. We even tell them to make it specific as to what it is that they want from the um the medical records, you know? We don't just give out your information because our job is to protect you as your health insurance company. Y'all, I don't work for Blue Cross, American Express. I know these big companies don't play like that because they don't want to pay out hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Y'all, let me check this pen. Hold on one second. So the pen is 596960. Phone number again is 605-313-4477. One second. Did you try again? Because y'all, I'm just, I'm over this. This has gone on too long. This doxing back and forth. These people are thinking it's cute. And y'all, like I said, this is my first time ever even trying to do a call in. So if it doesn't work, I will get with my kids to help, figure out where I'm going wrong because I'm pretty sure that it's me. It's nothing to do with you guys that are trying to call. What I'm saying is, y'all, we gotta stop this stuff in this sector before somebody gets hurt. Um, I I'm not gonna fall on the side of wrong, whether you like Jay Wilson or not, to put out his entire address, his entire home address, because you don't like him. That shit is crazy. I forgot that she actually put out a Five Babes address, or it was her tenant's address. Yeah, her rental property. And y'all, another thing that I wanted to touch on is jealousy, because I think a lot of this is I do see a call. Let me just see um if I can. Is the last four of your number 9122? Are you there? Give me 1 second. 9122. Okay, just 1 second. Y'all, see, this one you need young people around. I'm never too ashamed to admit that y'all's technology, and y'all, I'm not even that old. I'm 54, but usually when I start something like this, I have my kids help me, and they don't know how to do any of this. Hold on 1 second. My kids were like, they can't even believe that I'm doing this. Okay, I don't even know how you pick up the call. Child, look, this is funny. Oh, this is crazy. Let me see. Okay, it says mute. I don't want to mute you. I want to pick your call up. I'm hitting the icon. Child, look, girl, you messing with the wrong one over here. Hold on. How do you pick the shit up? Invite participants that recorded broadcaster. Look, girl, Hold on. I'm gonna keep talking. When I get this, y'all, I'm gonna be good at it. But right now, I have no clue. What I want to tell y'all is don't buy into all this stuff. Don't think that what is being done out here is right. Okay, say we don't like somebody. Y'all, I don't like Tracy, but I would never do anything to put that girl in danger. I don't want her dead. I don't want her hurt. I just don't like her. You know, we cannot like people without putting their lives in jeopardy because, y'all, we know that people out there are crazy. We know that people will get in their car, get on a plane and fly somewhere and do some crazy shit. We know that. So why would you would you put someone's life in danger? You know, why would you think that that's okay? I just that part I just don't get. I don't understand how these people can think that that's okay. Y'all, I'm still trying to pick her call up, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. So let's do this. For those of you in the chat, let me just ask a question. First of all, if type the number one if you think what Tracy did as far as putting his address out there was okay. If you could just type the number one. If you don't, if you thought it was reckless, type the number two. Because I actually think that was reckless. And y'all, another thing that I noticed is something weird going on in this sector because I have even gotten things before I go on, let me just clarify by what I mean by weird. I think that because of all of the doxing and the doxing reports that we're getting from this sector, I actually believe that law enforcement is actually looking actively and in real time at our sector. I've gotten a couple emails myself as a content creator that were a little fishy. I've seen comments in other people's chats with warnings that sound a little official to me because of the wording in it. Because, and that's why I gave y'all the different places that I work. And I forgot to mention that the different places that I've worked. Listen, y'all, I've worked for a law firm for, I think I was there about 5 years. I worked for these big healthcare companies. I worked for American Express, one of the biggest companies in the world. So I understand when they are afraid that they are going to get in trouble. I I know how they move. And if you read in some of these people's comments, there is some entity that is moving through these people that are doxing their comments, and they are warning them to be careful with what they are putting out there. They are warning them that um, that the law pretty much is watching, and the people are not paying attention. They're thinking that these are just people like us just commenting. I believe because think about when police officers or law enforcement are trying to catch online child predators. What do? They go in chat rooms and they watch the back and forth in the chat to sniff out pedophiles and all of that stuff. We are getting so many reports of doxing in this sector, that it's what I believe is happening, and this is as a content creator. I believe the law enforcement is actually actively watching us in real time, meaning that they're here. They see what's going on. And this is why I even put, when Tracy put up Jay Wilson's address, I put it in her, on her community page. This is a residential address. What are you doing? Now, she's since taken that down. So you won't even see my comment. But I asked her. In other words, I'm even saying, Tracy, think about what you're doing. I'm not over there saying you simple bitch, you this, you that. I'm saying, girl, you are 49 years old. You do not want to be in somebody's jail. Um, let me just read your comments. So that girl Dazzle says, I think that is wrong, but they are doing this to each other. I remember when Geisha, who was another YouTuber, put Tracy's information out there. You are correct. Jay Wilson didn't dox Tracy first. Geisha 305 put everything out there. So everybody already knew. Okay, that girl Dazzle says they are going to get kicked off of YouTube, period. Facts. I truly believe it. And then she says, and I heard about Jay Wilson riding past Tracy job or the house, I believe. He rode, I guess, where Tracy lives at. And a lot of us, we in our neighborhoods, we have gas stations, we have banks, we have stores. I guess what he did is he rode near where she lived, and to the gas station that's in her neighborhood, and to a corner store that's in her neighborhood. But again, I ask y'all, I live in a whole community. At the corner of my store, at the corner of my street, there's a Popeyes, there's an old fashioned Italian grocery store. What all else is up there? On the other side of the street is what restaurant is that to sell those little bland burgers? I can't think of it. White Castle, there's a rallies up there, all of that stuff. If you roll past all of that, even in my neighborhood, there's a school. There's a school right in the center of our neighborhood. So if you roll up to that school and roll all around, that is really, really close to my house. I would not be upset. Now, if he rolled up and was filming and showed my door with my, because even though we live in townhomes, we have apartment numbers. So if he showed my apartment number, then I would have a problem. But to show somebody's neighborhood, y'all, I don't know, y'all. It's gotten to the point where people are making excuses for this. Do I think any type of doxing? Now, y'all have to understand the definition of doxing, and I put that down in my chat box. It says to search for and publish private or identifying information about a particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent. Now, again, the keywords there are personally identifiable information. The reason why I keep drumming that into y'all is because if Jay Wilson takes this to court, this is what the judge is going to look at. Remember, I work for attorneys, y'all. Is what Jay Wilson did to Tracy was personally identifying information shown? Then they're going to look at what Tracy did to him, and they're going to ask that same question. Was personally identifying information shown? That is going to tell the judge who should win the case, because Tracy is going to be able to show Fi Babe's video. She's going to be able to show Jay Wilson's video. And that judge is going to go back in their chamber, and they're going to look at the evidence from both parties. And he's going to make a decision on which one of them actually release personally identifying information. Tracy's going to come up short, y'all, because nowhere in there can you personally identify. Hell, I watched the video. I still don't know where Tracy lived at. I just know she lived by a gas station and a store. Just like if you came in my neighborhood and you started down my street, you would say, well, at the entrance of her street across the street, there's a Popeyes, there's a old fashioned Italian grocery store. But you, when you come in my neighborhood, you don't know where I live at. I would stand outside at the store and watch you drive through my neighborhood because I know unless you know my apartment number, why should I be worried? These people are uh it's going okay. She says they're going to hell and YouTube is going to purge this sector. I mean, oh yeah, I heard about that girl Dazzle. I've been seeing content creators mention something about that they believe that eventually sector of YouTube they're going to start snatching channels to the point where we are going to no longer exist, y'all. And I'm not going to keep y'all for much longer because once the other content creators come on, I want to get back out there and see what has happened. Um, you know, after yesterday, y'all. The reason why when I first started my video, I said, look at because I don't hide my numbers. I said, look at how many subscribers I have. It's not a secret for me. I did not get this by beefing. I did not get this by being in drama. I came on here after I had surgery. I was laid up, I was bored, and I just started doing YouTube videos. I looked at all these other people out here doing them, and I said, well, hell, if they can get on here and run their damn mouths, I can too. When I first came out, I used to try to do the reviews of the reality shows till I got sick of that shit. Then I talked about politics, things that are going on in the world. You can grow without all of this because look at what I have. Now, I go away and come back for long periods of time. So the actual view counts on my videos, they're low, but I do this because I actually like I think it's fun, you know? So the point I'm trying to make is these people out here who are thinking that this doxing, this being out here doing all kinds of crazy stuff is going to make them popular. It will for a while, but then it'll fall off. Y'all look at that whole King Jive spectacle that happened. When he came back that first week, his videos were hot. There were over 1,000 people in his chat. He was performing for the camera. I thought he looked a whole fool, and I knew that stuff was not going to last. I even explained why I don't come on camera. I've come on camera a few times, but what I found is I feel more comfortable and I believe that I'm more honest. Like if I'm telling y'all something personal that's going on in my life or has gone on when I was younger, it's easier for me to do it when I don't feel like I have a whole bunch of eyes. I actually feel I'm more honest when you don't see me because you are focusing on my voice. You can kind of hear when, hold up, she said such and such, blah, blah, blah. And just a few minutes ago, she said this, that, another. You can tell when a person's voice changes. You can hear it in their voice when they're lying. So I feel like you guys pay more attention when you can't see the person. Because if I was to turn on my camera right now, the first thing you guys will do is you'll start looking around this little, I call it my little beauty room office. After my daughter moved out, I turned her bedroom into my beauty room slash office. You will start looking around at what I got going on in my house, and you would forget to focus on what I'm saying. You know, that's what I believe got Jay Wilson into this. And y'all, I'm going to say something else about that. People talk about him talking about his home. Let me tell y'all something about achievements in life. Y'all, I did a whole video about my daughter graduating from college and how proud I am of her and the life that her hard work is going to provide her. Y'all, I watched my daughter go through 5 years of college all the stuff that she went through, that she told me, and that I later found out after she graduated. My daughter worked at a job where she was locked in overnight with people that were physically challenged. They weren't mentally challenged, but they were physically challenged. And this place that she used to work at made it her job at 21 years old or 22 years old to pass these people their meds. One of these guys that was there, my daughter, of course, y'all can tell I'm black. My daughter was giving meds to this guy, and she'd given him his meds. Later on, he came up to her and he told her, give him his meds again. My daughter said, I can't give you that medicine because if I gave it to you before, you've had your meds for the evening. Something in his mind told him she was lying to him. He hauled off and slapped the fucking shit out of my daughter. Now, let me tell you, y'all, I'm only 4'11. 4'11. I'm not even 5 feet tall. My daughter is about 5'3", weighs about 135. She said this guy was about 6'4". He was white. He hated black people. He slapped the shit out of her. So my daughter, being the fighter that she is, shoved him and knocked him on the floor. What she got up chasing her. She had to run, lock herself in the office, and call the police on him. He was kicking the door so hard that he jammed the door. And when the police got there, they had to literally cut her out of the place. Now, my daughter didn't tell me this. You know why? Because she was making $16 an hour there, and she figured it would help her, with her schooling. She knew that I would be upset. When I think about all the different things that a person that spends 4 and 5 years of college go through trying to get that degree, trying to make a better life for themselves. I think all the shit I went through as a parent trying to put this child through college financially, because y'all, college is very expensive, and I'm not rich. I'm not on here claiming to be, living large. I'm just an average everyday working mom. So to be trying to pay my bills and then put a girl through college, and this college wanting between 450 and 550 every month for 10 months, when this man sits over there, and I'm speaking of Jay Wilson, and he's proud of what he has achieved. What is wrong with that? Now, people say he talks about it too much, but I think that if I had achieved all the goals that I set for myself, and this is why I tell my daughter, I said, you know what? Sometimes it's okay to toot your own horn. Y'all, when I was younger, I didn't do that. And I got passed over. I would be working in jobs, and I was always that team spirit person. Well, we did this and we did that. But what started to happen is people that I work with would be tooting their own horn. And so when it come time to get a raise, they would get more than me because I come from the old school. I come from go to work, put your head down, and they'll watch you, and you'll get your recognition. But it don't always work like that. What I've learned is you do need to toot your own horn. And I see that girl Dazzle says, I think he uses it as a weapon against the people he talks about. You know what? Think about it this way, that girl Dazzle. It can only be used as a weapon if you feel that he's above you. Jay Wilson has, when I looked at his home, he has 3,000 square feet of living, and he built his house from the ground up. I have several friends that have built their homes from the ground up. Little young girls that I work with are 32 years old, building homes from the ground up. That doesn't bother me. I've never built a house from the ground up. I've owned a home before, but when I was married, but I've never built it from the ground up. Why would it be a weapon? If you are secure in who you are, and I'm just speaking to y'all. Now I'm gonna speak to y'all as a mom. This is what I tell my kids. When you are secure, and I'm talking really secure, not just saying you're secure. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. If you are, and this is why I taught my daughter to carry herself like a queen. Now, in some respects, I think I went too far because this girl truly believes she's a queen now. But when my kids were growing up, I told my son he was a king. And every day that I put him to bed when he was little, and I talked about this in another video of what I did with my kids to build self confidence in them. Every night, when I put him to bed and her too, I would go in his room, sit beside him, tell him that he was important. My kids laugh and say I'm like that woman that said you is fine, you is good, you is important, because I did that when they were growing up. I told them that I told him how when he goes out in the world, he's not going to be seen as anything other than young black male. I told him you will only believe that if you don't have a sense of who you are. So I start telling him that you are descended from kings, you are this, you are that, you are this. Then when my daughter came along, because my son is 8 years older than my daughter, when I would tuck her in at night, I never called her a princess. I called her a queen. I would tell her, you are a queen, you are beautiful, you are a lady. So what happened, what I started noticing over the years is what I was doing was starting to work. They are very confident. In my daughter's case, I think sometimes she might be a little bit too much confident, and I might have to tamp that back. I might have went overboard a little bit with her because she is my son sometimes refers to her as a bougie diva. So we're gonna have to rein her in a little bit. But the point that I'm trying to make is when you have a true sense of who you are, and this is how you can tell whether you do. Just him talking about his house. I don't have that. I'm 54 years old. I've never built a house from the ground up. I cannot imagine walking into something that was brand new for me. Nobody had ever lived in it. Nobody had ever painted a wall. Nobody had ever done anything in that house. I was the first owner. How can how can that be a weapon? It can only be a weapon if I allow it to be. See, here's what's happening. Our parents' generation, they were united because they were being discriminated against. They were going through all kinds of things in America, and they united. They upheld each other. Our generation and the generations that are younger than me, we don't have that spirit of unity anymore. We are so fucking busy tearing each other down when one of us is a little higher than the other. Y'all, this is something that, and this might be getting a little bit too deep, and eventually I'm going to end this life. This is something that they did to us in slavery. They divided us by this one is better than the other. This is better. And we continue to do this to each other. Y'all can support these movie stars, these cussing rappers who routinely call black women bitches and hoes and all that, and talk about what they got and floss on Instagram and all this with their wealth. But when Jay Wilson is the average black middle age black, he's the average black middle class educated man. You know, it's the it's if you believe that he's above you, it bothers you. See, I don't believe that. So that's why it doesn't bother me. Y'all, I'm happy in my little, I think I got 1,400 square foot townhome. Y'all, I'm happy. I don't even need all this room. I really don't. Because when my daughter moved out, I said, look, I don't even go down the basement. Why would I have a finished basement? And the only time I go down there is to wash my clothes. I got a whole setup down there. And when I go down there, I'm dusting because literally I could write my name in the dust down the basement. But why should I be upset with something someone else has? It doesn't bother me. And y'all, this thing that we do to each other, and I know people that are younger than me, they're not gonna get this. And I didn't get it when I was younger. But now that I'm older and I look back at my mother's generation, my mother is in her late 70s. Their generation was more united than what we are. I don't know if they did all the fighting for us, all the fighting so we could have all the rights that we have now. We have all these rights now. We don't know what it's like to not have the right to go different places, to not have the right to do certain things. So now have anything in common to fight for. See, my mothers in them generation were fighting just for the rights to survive here in America. Now we've gotten a lot of those rights. And since we don't have anything else, well, we got stuff to fight for. Y'all just, a lot of y'all just ain't even thinking about it. But we spend our time fighting each other, putting each other down, not uplifting each other. Even to, these people talking about that Five Babes chat, when it shoots up to that 1,000 or whatever, she's bought dislikes, likes, bots. I guess the her thing shooting up that high is fake. Y'all, okay. I'm a content creator. I'm over there. Why am I not jealous of her numbers? I really, I am proud to see a sister out here doing it, because y'all, YouTube is not checking that hard for black YouTubers. You don't see that many up there in the top ranks of YouTube. Basically, we have a few, but they don't really pay attention to them. So when you see somebody in our quote unquote sector start to do good, why we always got to question the authenticity of their success? That's that's what we do to each other as black people. That's what we do to each other. If you see, I don't even have a problem if another woman is beautiful. I will say, "Oh, girl, you look pretty today. Oh, I love your hair. Or that makeup is banging." What does that take from me as a woman to compliment another woman? Look, y'all, they sit up and tell that girl her skin is greasy. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I got oily skin, and when I was Five Babies, I think Five Babies in her late 30s, y'all, all through my 30s. As y'all tell her that she can fry chicken on her face, she gonna love that skin when she get my age. Because you know what? That skin ages very slow. Here I am in a few months, about to be 55. I don't have a wrinkle. That skin, my mother used to tell me when I was younger, she would say, "You're gonna love that skin later on," because I used to complain that my skin was oily, and that, my God, I just powdered my face and look at it. Y'all, these people are beating up on her on something she can't even help. When, like, do you not think that she knows that her skin is oily? What can she do for it? They make makeup for people like us that have oily skin. They recognize that there's some of us out here that battle oily skin. That oily skin, and y'all, what's funny, when I was a teenager, I didn't even have acne. With my skin being that oily, I didn't even have acne. But what it did is, now that I'm in my 50s, headed to mid 50s, I'll be 55 in March. What I realize is I don't have a wrinkle, a crease, nothing on my face. So my mother was right. People with dry skin, I feel for y'all. I feel for y'all. So the point I'm trying to make, y'all, before I get out of here, because I don't want to hold y'all, because the crazies should be logging in a minute, and and giving us their update on what happened yesterday. I'm the type of person, and I don't want to be speaking to as a mother, but sometimes I can't help it, y'all. I've been doing it for 32 years, so it's hard not to. This person, that girl Dazzle, I like that you ask questions. See, I'm never going to be that older person that poo-poos what you're saying. I just like to give. I don't even give my kids advice, y'all. I said this in another video. I what I do is I like to listen to them and give them something to think about. My kids call it my teachable moments because you don't ever want to crush a thought. You know what I mean? Because that girl Dazzle, she's sitting here, she's thinking about stuff, and she's asking questions. I don't want to. That's a good thing. I don't want her to feel that here's this older woman knocking back my questions because that is the way we learn. What I'm doing as her elder is just giving her something to think about. I always say, I give my kids those, as they call it, teachable moments. But here's what I tell them when they leave my house. I say, take what you need from it. Take what you want from it. Only you know what's truly going on in your life and what parts of my teachable moments that you need. So that girl Dazzle, that's what I was doing, girl. I'm a mother through and through. And I don't believe that as older people we should be telling younger people, oh, I'm smarter than you. I know better. I don't know better. Girl, I was young one day, once upon a time too, and I was on the other side with someone giving me teachable moments. You keep asking those questions. But in the meantime, what I want you to do is think highly of yourself. You are a queen. I don't even know you. But I feel that here you are on here asking um, intelligent questions. You have been thinking, who am I to rain on your parade? But think about how you feel about yourself. If you move in your life and you encounter people and you're feeling jealous or you feel something about them that they're sometimes I ask, you know, if everywhere you go there's a problem, is it you? Like I'm gonna say this and then I'm truly gonna get out of here. This is one last example I'm gonna give y'all. My daughter, like I told y'all, we have raised her to believe she's a queen. So when she was in college, every roommate she had, there was a problem. Now, I'm not one of those type of mothers that believe everything my kids say. So around the third roommate, y'all, my daughter's name is Amber. And we call her Am. I said, Am, can I ask you a question? I said, I just want to tell you something. I said, if everywhere that you go, everybody got a problem with you, have you ever thought that maybe it could be you? Because y'all, by that time, she had had three different roommates, and I was tired of her calling me with these stories about how she can't stand this roommate, how if this girl keep on talking to her, she gonna do this, that, and the other. I started to say, well, you know what? Maybe it's not the roommates, maybe it's her. And of course, she was upset and all of that. But a couple days later, she called me back and she said, Mom, maybe it is me. I'm not used to, I've never roomed with anyone else. I've always had my own room. And I think what it is I'm so used to going in my room, closing my door, and being in there alone to move around that this person is aggravating me. And I told her exactly because my daughter was so strict with her roommates. I would have whooped her ass when I was in college. She didn't want them to have boy company over. She didn't want them to drink. She didn't want them to come in drunk. I mean, some of the things that she was saying, I can understand as an older person. But hell, they're in college. College kids drink, party, and boys come over. Look, I couldn't understand it. But I said all that to say if everywhere that Tracy goes, there's a problem. She's fighting with everybody here on YouTube. Can everybody be wrong? Think about that, y'all. Can everybody be wrong? What I don't like about Tracy is she does not take responsibility for anything. She never says, maybe I did something wrong. She never comes back on and apologizes for anything. I have a problem with that. I definitely have, a problem with that. As a woman, as a person, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, y'all. We all say stupid shit. We all pop off, get mad. I can't tell y'all how many times over my life I done been in the heat of an argument and said some stuff that you, after you say it, you're like, oh my God. Like when you get by yourself, you say, oh my God, I cannot even believe I said that, you know, and then you're like, damn, I need to call that person and apologize. And your pride get in the way because you like, well, they ain't called me. You know what, y'all? What I learned now, what I do is I walk away from arguments. I rather not speak to you for a couple weeks till I calm down, because what I found is, and this happened when I was younger, I would say stuff that there was no coming back from. I would get in an argument with my siblings, and you know, your family members, you know all their business. So we would be going at each other. And I would say some stuff that they're, you know, that you cross the line. And then when me and that sibling would make back up, they would be thinking, that's some shit she always thought about me. And I would have hurt them to their core. Right now, y'all, I went to visit my brother for his birthday. And he said things got a little rocky, and he said some things to me that were out the way. He was texting me, calling me, blah, 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 you know, to finish the little argument that we had. I'm not going to talk to him till I'm no longer mad at him, because I love my brother. Even though he stepped over the line with some things that he said and he did, I don't ever want to cross the line when it comes to people that I care about. Because once you do, once you cross that line, when y'all get back friends, it they know how you feel about them, you know. Y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. I just want y'all to, when y'all moving out in these YouTube streets, don't be swayed. Use your own judgment on, you know, what you believe is going on. Don't go into someone's chat and have them sway the way that you're thinking. Like if you go in there and you say your first thought is this is wrong, it's wrong. Or if your first thought is, this is justified, this is. Don't hate on people for their success. Trust me when I say, I just watched a young lady fight her way, and my son graduated also. But I just watch people fight, and I look at the struggles that these people went through to get what they had. Trust me when I say, whatever Jay Wilson had, nobody handed it to him. He had to work to get what he had. There's nothing wrong with being proud of that and tooting your own horn. You know, I'm not saying be arrogant, but when you're out there moving in your world, toot your own horn. Because if you don't, as you can see, nobody else is going to. So that girl Dazzle, toot your horn. Girl, when you walk out today, I always tell my daughter, throw your head up, them shoulders back, and walk like a queen, stomp it out. And with that, y'all, let me get off here, because if my kids hear me talking like that, they're going to think I'm crazy. Y'all take care. Be careful out there. And one day I will figure out this live, and we will be able to chat back and forth, because I really would like to talk to that girl Dazzle. You take care, sweetie. Thanks for visiting me, y'all. Bye bye now.